What's it like just to be back with the team now after being out for a little bit? And what's the mood around now after being back home?
Nice to be back. I wish we were playing a few more games to get kind of in a rhythm, but what are you going to do? It is what it is. But I think it will be a good break for us. We can get some people back. We can get them healthy. And then obviously with the COVID protocol, we're missing a few key players, so it would be nice to get them back as well.
And Dylan Holloway joined the team today. What's it like to just have some new blood in the lineup? And it seemed like a lot of guys were happy to have him and let him join the team.
Yeah, it was great to have him. He worked extremely hard to get where he's at. He's always in the gym. He's always working extremely hard with our skating coach, Belchier. So nice to see him finally be able to take into practice. Obviously, he's putting a lot of hard work. He's a big, strong kid, and future's definitely really bright for him.
I know you have a game on Monday, Zach, but right now that's the only game until I think the 20th, maybe. Is this almost like a training camp mentality a little bit and refocus as a group?
I guess you could call it training camp mentality. I think when you're not getting points, it's sometimes nice to just step away a little bit. You can watch a little more video. You can kind of go through your systems in practice, but it's more so just mentally. When you're losing, and the ways we're losing, there was a tough couple games on that road trip. I'm not going to comment because I wasn't on, but the Toronto game, we're right there going into the third against a good team, and there's one little error that puts us behind the eight ball. You do that constantly, mentally it starts to wear on you. So it's more so a mental break that's going to help us get out of this funk rather than physical, I think.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because it seems at times you guys are your own worst enemy. You've played long stretches of good games, and then it's that one key error that seems to end up in their back of the net. So how do you eliminate that because it seems to be collective amongst lots of different guys at different times?
Yeah, it's one of those things you have to work your way out of it. There's that old saying, the hockey gods will reward you. If you're working hard, if you're playing the right way, more times than not, you're going to create your own bounces and things are going to go your way. I think there's been spurts through games where we've played well, but then there's been times where we let off the gas a little bit. And I think if you sat here at the beginning of the year, we would have told you the same thing. There's going to be highs and lows through a season. Obviously, we went through a really big high where we had a lot of success, and now we're kind of in the low of lows where it seems like we can't win a game. But if we get back to the basics, we rest up mentally, physically, there's still a lot of hockey to be played, and we still have a lot of belief in our dressing room. Obviously, it's tough when you're losing in this market. Everyone wants to win now, but it's a process, and there's going to be highs and lows through a season. We just got to stick together, and there's no doubt in my mind we'll get through this, but it's obviously taking a little longer than we'd all like.
You guys were in a situation like this a couple of years ago where you had a really bad December and it looked like things were going off the rails, and it turned around pretty quickly and headed in the other direction. Are there any similarities between then and now, and what does it take to flip it like that?
Well, every season kind of has its own ups and downs. I think you can relate a little bit to it, but like I said, we knew there was going to be highs and lows going into the year. No team just rolls through the year without any, what's the word I'm looking for? Adversity, yeah, great, thanks. With no adversity. I think that's what makes teams. I think that's what happens when you're going late into the season and you're playing in those dog days of the year where you look back and you came through it as a team, and that's how your team grows. And I think we're kind of, like I mentioned earlier, we're kind of at the bottom of the pit right now. But a lot of this game's confidence. You win a couple games in a row, you get your swagger, you get your confidence back, you get healthy. The rest is history. But we have to find a way to win the first one and get out of it and get rolling.
How much of this, and there are some circumstances that you guys are dealing with. Every couple of days you lose some guys to COVID, you've had some injuries, you've had some goaltending stuff. How much of that is circumstance, and how much of this is that you guys have some issues as a team and how you play that need to be fixed?
The COVID protocol and injuries, that happens around the whole league. You can't use that as an excuse. It's ultimately together in the room. It's the group in the room that we have to figure out ways to win games. We were winning games on the power play earlier in the year. Our 5-on-5 wasn't good. It picked up a little bit, but our special teams was doing really good. Now they're floating a little below average, but at the end of the day, it's about winning games. If your power play scores a goal and you win the game, you get 2 points, you bank it, and you move on to the next one. Right now, we got to find ways to win, whether that be special teams, 5-on-5, taking it to OT and getting an OT goal, a shootout win. Doesn't really matter. It doesn't have to be pretty. We just got to put points in the bank.
Zach, I know you've kind of addressed some of it, but can you pinpoint maybe what is missing right now? It seems like, you are playing well at times, you're getting some, some bad bounces or whatnot, but can you pinpoint one or two things that are kind of missing in the last, 12, 13 games?
No, I'm not going to get into what's missing. I think we've had the same team when we were on a heater than now. So ultimately, it's just everyone maybe giving 2% more, taking those little errors out of our game, and capitalizing on our chances. We've had chances to score. You don't score, but that's the way hockey goes sometimes. You score some that you shouldn't. You miss when you should. Ultimately, you could just talk all day about we're on a slide and we got to get better, but ultimately it has to come within the room. And like I mentioned 5 times already, there's going to be highs and lows through a season. We can't have people jumping off the boat because we've played a bad month of hockey. There's 8 months of hockey, and we have to stay level-headed here. And if there's one thing that I've learned through the league, there's never too high, never too low, and that's kind of where we're at right now. We were pretty humble when we were on our winning streak, and we're humble now that we're losing, but we know we're a good team. We just have to get back to the way we were playing, and that's ultimately everybody worrying about themselves and giving a little more.